We have updates to the Jeep Grand Wagoneer, some of the highlights. The first thing is they have gotten rid of the Wagoneer. It is now just the Grand Wagoneer. The second thing is they have stuck the Jeep badge back on the front. Some buyers were a little bit confused. Is Wagoneer, Grand Wagoneer a sub-brand? Is it a Jeep? It's got Jeep right on the front now, so clearing up that confusion. They've also simplified the trim strategy. In the past, buyers may have been confused with Series 1, Series 2, Series 3, all the different versions. Instead, now they've got the trims to try to line up with other vehicles in the Jeep family. And the last thing is they have a all new powertrain, which I'm very excited to learn about. It's the REEV, the REEV, Range Extended Electric Vehicle, arriving for the Grand Wagoneer. So today we're going to be getting up close with the updated 2026 Grand Wagoneer and seeing what it's like. Here's a look under the skin of the big piece of news for the new Grand Wagoneer, the new powertrain option, the REEV, the REEV. It's a range extended electric vehicle, and it's always really cool getting to see these cutaways where you see the inner workings underneath a vehicle. And this is not a all new powertrain piece of news, right? It's been teased before, announced for the Ram, but it's coming first on the Grand Wagoneer. And what we have up front is a gas engine. This is a Pentastar V6 based, a naturally aspirated V6, but it's not powering the wheels. Instead, this thing is acting as a generator, so it can be used to charge up the battery on the go, hence range extended electric vehicle. You still have batteries here. You have electric motors driving the actual wheels, producing the power and the torque, but the engine can then extend your range. So instead of having to plug in and stop when your battery's depleted, you can just put gas in it and it just keeps going and going and going. This is a really cool application of a blend of electrification and gas. So it's not a plug-in hybrid, even though you can plug it in, because a plug-in hybrid, technically the engine has a transmission, it's driving the wheels. So right here you can see the CCS plug right here to charge the battery pack. Now it's a 92 kilowatt hour battery pack there on its own. They haven't released official final numbers, but they're expecting around 150 miles of range just from the battery pack. But if you're going less than that, you could theoretically just charge up and keep going. But let's just say you're doing a long road trip. Well, it's got a 20-gallon gas tank that then the gas engine can recharge the batteries on the go. And there's different use cases where they can mix between the level of the engine. So there's pure EV, right? That's your first mode. The second mode would be mild hybrid, essentially, right? It's mildly running as a generator if you just want to keep your battery topped up as you're going. And then there's another use case where you're towing something big and heavy and you really need maximum output, and then it can run the engine a bit better. Another cool thing about getting rid of the connection between the engine, transmission, and the wheels is you can run the engine in its most ideal sweet spot. So they've retuned it, done a couple little things to tweak it to make sure that this thing can operate in its most efficient zone, because it literally is just a generator, but it really helps extend the range, eliminate range anxiety. They're saying at least 500 miles on a tank of gas / full charge. So really cool to finally see the REEV, R-E-E-V. The acronyms get kind of funky, right? Because you have EREV, extended range electric vehicle, you have range extended electric vehicle, or you just have range extended vehicle, REEV, REV, whatever you want to call it. They haven't finalized a name. Don't think it's going to be 4xe, kind of indicated they didn't like using 4xe for this type of powertrain combination. We'll see what the final branding is, but a quick look under the skin of the Grand Wagoneer's new powertrain. Let's get up close and check out some details on the Grand Wagoneer. So this one is the Upland trim. It's a new trim for the Grand Wagoneer, and it's the more off-road oriented version. You can see smaller 20-inch wheels, and I really like this gunmetal finish on them with all-terrain tires and the adjustable height air suspension. So the Upland trim is the more off-road oriented Grand Wagoneer. Up front, you can see some styling changes to the lighting and front fascia. They actually moved this a little bit further up and forward to give it a more squared off and blunt nose. We have these T-shaped running lights below, but unfortunately this thing has been sitting in the studio all day, and I'm pretty sure the battery is completely dead, so we can't see the lighting right now. But they've tweaked the design up front. You've got the light bar and then the subtle illumination of the grille slots right there, really matching the Wagoneer S. And also below here we have some tow hooks, also in a gunmetal finish there, functional. So that's a look at the styling up front. And this color is called steel blue, which is pretty cool, like a subtle dusky gray blue. There's some pretty cool new paint finishes available for the updated Grand Wagoneer. And then, like I mentioned, we have a Jeep badge up front now. Unmistakably a Jeep, but it clears up some of that confusion with the Wagoneer, Grand Wagoneer. Another look at those all-terrain tires, the fixed side step, and this thing is utterly gigantic side view mirrors. I mean, it's a big, big vehicle. The Grand Wagoneer plays around in the segment with things like the Fords and the Chevys, Cadillac Escalade, Lincoln Navigator, the big, full-sized SUVs. Quick look at the interior. Not a ton of changes from the pre-refreshed Wagoneer and Grand Wagoneer. Ignore that. That's because we're in a pre-production vehicle in a studio with the big red warning button. But they've updated Uconnect screen. The head-up display is slightly larger. And then this one is an Upland model, so not all the bells and whistles. So that's just a little storage thing. No passenger display over there. We have the Alpine sound system, but plenty of space, practicality, obviously, as a Grand Wagoneer. In terms of the powertrain, this one has the standard output Hurricane inline 6. They got rid of the Hemi. This one makes 420 horsepower and 468 pound-feet of torque, but the really interesting powertrain is in the other one. Under the hood, this one has the range extender powertrain. So it's the range extender electric vehicle, REEV. I don't know what they're gonna do for the final acronym or naming. This one actually does have a 4xe badge on the back, but per the CEO of Jeep, that is not final, and he's a bit of a stickler for nomenclature, and he wants it to be consistent, right? Because this is not the same powertrain formula you'll find in other 4xe vehicles like a Wrangler or a Grand Cherokee. It's a totally different way of setting it up, so we'll see what the final naming convention is, but the specs are pretty impressive. So the Hurricane over there, right? 400-ish horsepower, right? The high output gets pretty impressive, but this one here is pretty cool. 647 horsepower and 620 pound-feet of torque, which means the range extended electric vehicle Grand Wagoneer will do 60 in about 5 seconds. Now, it probably will still weigh a good amount because it's a big vehicle, right? And you add battery pack, a decent-sized battery pack, 92 kilowatt hour. That adds weight, the electric motors, and you still have a Pentastar V6, a naturally aspirated V6 up front. But it'll definitely be quick. It'll get plenty of range, 500 miles on a charge/tank of gas is what they are targeting. But it's just a really, really cool powertrain option. It's kind of a blend between full electric and still having the gas engine. So up here, we have our charging port. So we have a CCS combined charging style right here. When you actually do the math and figure out, like, how do you do MPGs for something like this, right? I was thinking, okay, if it does 150 miles on electric, that's 350 miles of the 500-mile range is purely off of the gas, which then your fuel economy is actually not fantastic. But you have to consider the fact that it does have a battery and it's running off of that thing. So 500 miles on a 20-gallon fuel tank leads to around 25 mpg, right? So it's going to be interesting. I think the play really is more so the power and torque output, the fact it can tow, the flexibility, and if you are just doing local driving up to 150 miles, I can't imagine anybody's commute is more than that. That'd be insane. You can just be pure electric mode, plug it in, take a road trip, you can put gas in it and just keep on going. Now this one here is the Summit Obsidian, the top of the line trim, and it's got all the nice bells and whistles. So we've got the larger 22-inch wheels, cool little two-tone finish there. And then we have on the inside this red leather, quilted red leather on all sorts of surfaces. So you see it's a very, very different level compared to the Upland. Just take a look at screen, passenger screen, Grand Wagoneer lettering. You're not going to forget that. It's very nice. There's a refrigerator here in the middle to cool your beverages. Of course, we have adjustable height air suspension. This one's got the power deployable running boards, the upgraded Macintosh sound system, right? It's gonna be a lot fancier than the regular version. And then the Obsidian blacks out all sorts of trim all over the vehicle. In the back, same thing. Tons of red quilted leather. It's actually got a decent third row back there. And then you have the captain's chairs with the full center console here in the middle with another screen there for your controls. I mean, you got the little TV screens on the back. So as befits a vehicle of this class, this would be competing with a Lincoln Navigator, a Cadillac Escalade in terms of the interior, the technology, and all of those features. This color is called Ghost. It's like a pearly, very light gray white finish there. It looks pretty cool with the clear smoked taillight effect there, the black badging, and you see there's a 4xe badge right here. Now that is not official. That is not official. Full disclosure, that is not official. It's on this pre-production demo model that we're checking out here in the studio. But at the end of the day, I think the fact they're finally coming out with this range extended powertrain is fascinating. It beat the Ram, so they're coming out with this first. The explanation was Ram is focused right now on putting the Hemi back in. They're very busy getting that tooled up, making sure it's reliable, hitting the volume targets and everything. So they start off here with the Grand Wagoneer. The specs are slightly different. The Ram, I believe, is going to have a larger gas tank, so a bit more range. And I think the Grand Wagoneer is actually heavier because you have so much more everything, seats and leather and stuff, right? The back of a pickup truck is the bed. You don't have all of this here. So it's actually going to be heavier. The pure efficiency numbers, I don't think that is the main goal for a vehicle like this. Honestly, it's not. When somebody is shopping for one of these things, I don't think they care all that much about their MPGs because these are pretty expensive vehicles, especially like this one. But I'm really looking forward to driving this powertrain because with an EV, it's smooth, torquey, instant. And they said that they made it so the V6 is going to be pretty much silent, just masked by all your regular wind and tire noise, and you're not going to feel or hear that. So that's really cool. It'll just be a silent generator ideally, right? But the fact that you can have the range extension and all the benefits of an EV, really excited to try this thing out. The power numbers definitely sound impressive. And they've kept the price point reasonable, starting around $65,000, and then you option into the six-figure price point. So that's a look at the new Jeep Grand Wagoneer, a very nice refresh. Visual changes, not a ton on the inside, but it's that powertrain. When that becomes available, I am super curious to see the take rate, how many people go for it, how the adoption is, where people are going to be buying them, how people feel about this range extended option. Comment below, what do you think about the new updated Grand Wagoneer? Hope you guys enjoyed this video tour. Thanks for watching.